In 2009, a goat was arrested in Ilorin, Nigeria for alleged armed robbery. It all started when a group of local vigilantes tried to catch two men who had been caught attempting to steal a car. During the chase, one suspect managed to escape, and according to the villagers, one of the suspects used black magic to transform into a goat, thus evading capture. Convinced they had witnessed something supernatural, the villagers seized the animal and brought it to the police. They insisted the goat wasn't just a random animal, but that it was somehow a shape-shifted version of one of the thieves. The authorities, unsure of how to deal with such an unusual situation, decided to hold the goat in custody. Despite the obvious confusion surrounding the case, the bizarre story made headlines in the local media, where tales of witchcraft and magical transformations aren't all that unusual, especially in rural Nigeria. However, when the news reached international media, the event was met with skepticism and amusement. No formal charges were ever announced, and the case quietly faded into obscurity. The fate of the goat remains unknown. In 2019, Brazilian police conducting a raid on a suspected drug house in Teresina, the capital of Piauí State, encountered an unusual accomplice, a parrot trained to act as a lookout. As officers approached, the bird reportedly shouted, "Mamãe, polícia! Mama, police!" alerting its owners to their arrival. Despite the parrot's warning, police managed to arrest a man and a teenage girl at the scene. Inside the home, they seized drugs and a significant amount of money. But what truly shocked authorities was the bird's obvious training and its precise role in the operation. The parrot was taken into custody and placed under observation. But once in police care, it went completely silent, refusing to speak even when surrounded by veterinarians and law enforcement. Local reports described it as calm, but uncooperative. Eventually, authorities decided the parrot posed no threat and handed it over to a local zoo. There, it was placed in a special program to help animals transition back to life in the wild. After several months of reconditioning and flight training, the parrot was expected to be released, marking a quiet end to one of the strangest arrests in Brazil's drug enforcement history. In 2010, Indian authorities made headlines when they detained a pigeon in Punjab, near the Pakistan border, on suspicion of espionage. The story began in a village near the India-Pakistan border in Punjab. Locals spotted a pigeon that looked off. Unlike any ordinary bird, this one had a ring around its leg with inscriptions in Urdu, Pakistan's national language. Suspicious and alarmed, villagers caught the bird and took it to a police station. Police responded swiftly. The pigeon was taken into custody and placed under guarded surveillance in a locked room at a police station in Pathankot. Indian authorities conducted thorough medical examinations and even X-rays to check for hidden messages or surveillance devices, but they found nothing suspicious. Despite the lack of any concrete evidence, the pigeon was still logged as a suspected spy in official records. The pigeon remained detained. Authorities refused to release it, citing national security concerns. The bird wasn't allowed visitors, and officials didn't take the situation lightly. After a period of detainment, the pigeon was released, its supposed role as a spy unconfirmed. In 2008, Macedonia witnessed one of the most bizarre court cases ever, where a bear, yes, a real bear, was convicted of theft. It all started when a beekeeper near the town of Bitola noticed something strange. His beehives were being raided night after night. His honey was disappearing, but he couldn't figure out why. So he set up traps and cameras and discovered the culprit, a massive brown bear sneaking onto his property in the dead of night, devouring his honey like a furry outlaw. The beekeeper tried everything to stop the bear. He blasted loud music, everything from traditional Balkan folk to techno, and even tried using lights to scare it off. But nothing worked. The bear kept coming back, raiding the hives over and over again. Faced with serious financial losses, the beekeeper took the matter to court. And that's when things got really strange. A Macedonian court in Bitola convicted the bear of theft and property damage. But since the bear couldn't exactly be arrested or fined, and it was unowned and protected by law, the court ruled that the state was responsible for compensating the beekeeper for his losses. The court ordered the government to pay him around 1,700 euros. So, the bear walked free, but left behind a legacy as the first ever convicted bear thief in Macedonian history. In June 2013, at Penal Colony No. 1 in Syktyvkar, the capital of Russia's Komi Republic, a regular patrol around the prison's perimeter turned into a full-blown criminal case. It all began when guards spotted a black and white cat creeping along the outer fence of the prison. Now, cats in prison yards weren't exactly rare. Feral strays often wandered in, but something about this one raised eyebrows. According to reports, the cat looked off. Its back appeared bulky, like it was hiding something underneath its fur. When the guards approached, the cat made a break for it, bolting across the yard like it had a job to finish. That's when the guards really took notice. They cornered the animal and managed to catch it, which is no easy feat when dealing with a determined cat. Once they had it in custody, they discovered 2 black packages tightly taped to the cat's body, secured with industrial-style tape. Inside, 2 full cell phones, complete with SIM cards, batteries, and even chargers. The whole contraband package, ready to be delivered directly to inmates. The working theory was that someone from outside the prison had trained or used the cat to smuggle the phones through a weak spot in the fence. The cat would slip through and deliver the goods to an inmate waiting on the other side. Whether the cat had done it before is still unknown, but this time it got caught. Authorities never revealed what happened to the cat afterward, but the event prompted a review of prison perimeter security and became a global news headline showing just how creative smuggling methods had become. In April 2013, a truly bizarre and unforgettable incident took place in Sango-Ota, Ogun State, Nigeria, involving a cow at the center of a murder investigation. The chain of events started when a group of youths gathered to plan a local carnival in the Alada area. As tensions rose, a fight broke out among them. In the heat of the altercation, Dayo, one of the participants, grabbed a broken bottle and stabbed 24-year-old Aziz Salako in the neck. Salako tragically succumbed to his injuries, and the scene quickly turned chaotic. By the time the police arrived, the suspects had fled the scene, leaving behind one unusual piece of evidence, a cow that had been purchased for slaughter during the carnival. With no one left to question, the police, in an unexpected move, decided to take the cow into custody. The animal, though an unwilling witness, was treated as such while authorities continued their search for the fleeing suspects. The cow was held at the Sango-Ota police station for days while investigators tried to piece together the details of the crime. While the cow was never charged with anything, its detention became a topic of both amusement and disbelief. As time passed, the human suspect remained at large, and eventually the cow was released, leaving behind a trail of questions and a strange, almost comical chapter in Nigeria's history of crime investigations. In May 2008, an unusual incident made headlines in Tuxtla Gutierrez, the capital of Chiapas, Mexico. A donkey named Blackie was arrested after attacking 2 men, leading to its brief imprisonment. It all started when 63-year-old Genaro Vasquez was bitten in the chest by Blackie while walking near a ranch. As Vasquez struggled, 52-year-old Andres Hernandez rushed to help. But Blackie wasn't done. The donkey kicked him in the leg, fracturing his ankle. Both men were injured and needed medical care. Local authorities were called, and it reportedly took 6 officers to subdue the donkey. Blackie was then taken into custody and placed in a jail cell normally reserved for human offenders. Authorities decided to treat the attack as a criminal act, and Blackie remained in jail while his owner, Mauro Gutierrez, was required to pay medical costs and fines. The total bill for the victim's medical expenses, lost wages, and the donkey's fine came to around $746. After the payment was made, Blackie was released after 3 days of detention. In 2017, a group of unsuspecting vandals found themselves behind bars in Uttar Pradesh, India. It all started in the town of Orai, where 8 donkeys went on a wild spree of destruction. They wandered into a restricted area near a local jail and began munching through expensive plants and saplings, plants worth thousands of rupees. These had been part of a beautification project, and authorities were far from amused. After surveying the leafy crime scene, the police did something no one expected. They arrested the donkeys and locked them up in the local jail compound. The animals stayed in custody for 4 days while officials blamed their owner for negligence. It wasn't until a local politician stepped in, reportedly pleading and guaranteeing the donkeys' future good behavior, that they were finally set free. In August 2015, a peculiar case unfolded in Rajura, Maharashtra, India, involving a parrot named Harial, who was detained by police after allegedly hurling obscenities at his owner's 85-year-old stepmother, Janabai Sakarkar. Janabai claimed that for 2 years, every time she passed her stepson's house, the parrot would curse at her. She reported the incidents to the police multiple times, stating she felt harassed by the bird's behavior. In response, police summoned Janabai, her stepson Suresh Sakarkar, and the parrot to the station. However, when confronted, the parrot remained silent and did not repeat the alleged offensive language in front of the officers. Despite the lack of direct evidence, the police decided to seize Parrot and handed him over to the state's forestry department for further handling. While no charges were pressed against the parrot, the incident highlighted the complexities that can arise in disputes involving animals. In July 2015, the quiet town of Bottrup, Germany, found itself at the center of a peculiar case involving an unlikely suspect, a squirrel arrested for stalking. It began when a resident called the police in distress, reporting that she was being followed through the streets by a squirrel. She said the small creature had been chasing her relentlessly, refusing to back off no matter where she went. Feeling harassed and unsafe, she feared it wouldn't stop. Responding to the unusual call, local police arrived on the scene and indeed found the squirrel still hot on her heels. Officers managed to capture the tiny stalker and took it into custody. But instead of throwing it in a cell, they realized something important. The poor animal wasn't aggressive. It was simply exhausted, dehydrated, and possibly orphaned, seeking help and safety in the only human it could find. The squirrel was handed over to a local animal rescue center where it was treated, fed, and given proper care. Officials assured the public that no charges were filed, and the woman who made the call reportedly felt sorry once she learned the truth. What started as a creepy wildlife encounter turned into a story of compassion, reminding everyone how even the smallest creatures sometimes just need a little help.